Maybe if I turn on the microphone, you think? Is that better? Have we got sound now? Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. What's up, my Jenny girl? Jenny, I gotta tell you that picture. Oh, just, I mean, if you were 20 years younger, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I'm old enough to be your father. Anyway, these right here, I see these truck drivers out there. Now, this is free information, okay? So take it for what it's worth. But I see these truck drivers out there, and they wear these big things out there with the big thing in the microphone that comes around. I don't know why people do. I don't know why they do that. Uh, I can't hear you over the karaoke right now. I'll catch the replay. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? Because God knows tonight's going to be the best night we've had all year. I promise you that. That's 100% guaranteed. But you go listen to your karaoke, and maybe I'll just erase this thing, and then you'll have to call me on the phone and go, "What?" Anyway, I see these truck drivers in the truck stop, and I think they like wearing those big rigs on their head just to look cool. I really do, because I've tried one on, and the first thing that occurs to me when I put one of those things on, I'm not wearing this son of a bitch. I am not wearing this. First of all, I don't want to look like a monkey all day, and secondly, it's uncomfortable. I hate that. Clear drive. I don't even know what that is. You see this little thing right here? I get them at Walmart. I've been getting them for years. Ricky Davis had one years ago, and I said, "What is that?" "Oh, it's the little Plantronics thing. You got to try them out." So you can't see, and I can't move my camera, this camera I got, but I got like 4 of them over here over the years that I've picked up, and I keep them around. They last forever. And when I talk to somebody on the phone, years ago when I first started using them, uh, I would yell, because I was sure with this little thing that nobody could hear me. Everybody said, "Why are you yelling? I hear you perfectly fine." And I can hear everything. These do not hurt. I can't even tell they're in my ear. They come with these little here, let me see if I can show you. See that little thing? They come with all these different sizes of these things, like 6 different sizes, and you just pop them on there, and it fits your ear. Even if you got large monkey ears, like some friends of mine that are on here right now. And I'm not going to say their names because it's not my place to humiliate people for having big ears or sensitive ears. It's not my place. All I'm telling you is I don't even know. I forget this is there. I do. I've gotten in the shower with it in my ear. I've gone to bed with it I don't even think about it. I don't even think about it. But anyway, these are good. It's always something, Beth. Your husband wears hearing. It's always something. You know what I'm going to say? And if you got to wear a hearing aid, got to wear a hearing aid. But me, I'm talk loud enough. If he gets around me, I'm yelling anyway. He could probably hear me anyway. But here's the deal. These are wonderful, and they just passed all these new laws here in Tennessee. Now I don't try to keep up with other states because I don't care. I don't live there. But here in Tennessee, they just passed all these new laws about distracted driving. And if you get caught here now, distracted driving, that means holding your phone. Okay. That's what it means. Talking on the phone or texting. I like my bulky headset. I don't care. I don't care what you like. I'm not here to agree with you. I'm telling you, when you wear them, you look like one of them little space monkeys from the 60s. If you want to walk around looking like a space monkey from the 60s, then you should do that. It's America. Last time I checked, it's still a free country. If you want to look like a 1962 space monkey, I don't. It's okay with me. If you want to wear one of those big rigs on your head like that and a pink tutu, I don't give a damn. Honestly, I won't. And if I see you in the truck stop, and this summer I'm gonna be out riding around a little bit. If I see you in the truck stop, I probably won't say a word about either one, the headset or the pink tutu, because you know what? I don't care. Yeah, straight pipes didn't help his hearing. An idiot DOT doc says the dummy whispering here. So she was gonna flunk him. Jesus. That's it. Anyway, they just passed a bunch of laws here in Tennessee that just went into effect yesterday and today. And opinions are like assholes. They all have one. Yeah, yes, we do. We do. Okay. We all have one, not just me, not just you, everybody. All right. So anyway, they just passed a new law. You get caught the first time, it's a bunch of points on your license and a big, big fine. You get caught the second time, it's a lot more points and a much, much bigger fine. I'm talking about $1,000. And you get caught the third time, they suspend your license for 2 years, which I think is good because I ride motorcycles. Okay. And I've lost a couple friends to people that were drunk and distracted or distracted. And if I see somebody, if I'm riding a bike, and I always wear my big heavy boots when I'm riding a bike, if I see somebody, driving weird and I get up near them and they're texting, I'll kick the shit out of your car. That's me doing that. Just in case that somebody ever pulled up, redneck looking guy with kind of long hair, they enforce it. Yeah, they will. They will hear because I got up this morning and cars to this were this selective bullshit on truckers. I doubt that. I don't know. I got up this morning real early. I always do. And I was sitting here having my bowl of cereal and the phone rang. It was the chief of police because he lives right down the road from me. And he said, "Come and get me." And he had to take one of his cars to a repair shop, and it was going to take him a lot longer than he thought. So he was stuck, and his wife was at work, so she couldn't come and get him. So I went and picked him up and came back. I said, "What about this new distracted thing?" He goes, "Bugs the shit out of me." I said, "Yeah, me too." I don't think he would even know what to do if he pulled a truck driver over. I don't think I don't know. I ride motorcycles with him. I've known him for 20 years. I don't think he knows anything about trucks. He will call me sometimes and ask me about trucks, but I don't think he knows anything about it. He's just a regular guy. He's a good person. I've known him for a long, long time. He does a lot of stuff, and I think not all cops are like that. I'm sure he does a lot of stuff around the community, around the neighborhood that nobody knows about. I know about him because I'm a friend of his, and got the circle death going, Frank. I don't know what that is, but anyway, he's a good person. He does a lot of stuff for the community. I don't think a lot of people ever know about because he's not a guy that runs around bragging about it, which I admire. Anyway, and he's a friend. He's a friend of mine. In my world, in Frank world, here I thought you were going to tell my how to get rich picking up guys at a truck stop. That was last week. That was last week. If you need personal instruction on that, I'll call you up. But I'm going to tell you right now, you'll be all flabbergasted and probably get winded and shit like that. Hey, Greenfield, what's happening, man? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a great, great, great holiday season. Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, or if you celebrate. I hope everybody had a good, and I can't tell you, I know I'm a bad person. I am so glad it's over. I am so good. You can go back, Beth. You can go back on YouTube and click on it and just watch it all you want to. I'm so glad the holidays are over. Honestly, I am. I mean, my idea of Christmas is probably different, than a lot of other people. For instance, we got 6 kids and they got kids, and there's all these people, and you get like, I don't know, a couple weeks, a month, whatever your routine is. Mine's different, probably. And you start thinking, well, what can I get this one? What can I get? And it becomes kind of like a chore, and it's not supposed to be like that to me. To me, you give somebody a gift that you want them to have, something that's personal, something that you think that they would enjoy and get some joy out of, and some entertainment, or whatever. So to me, I pick up Christmas gifts all the time. And you see this stuff behind me over here, back here, here, this stuff. See all this stuff behind me on the wall, and you can't see a lot of it. But you like the signs and the books and the shirts and all that. And if you can see higher, you'd see more books and CDs and all the stuff and signs and stuff that my kids get me. And you see my hats and stuff all back there. those are things that my kids give me for Christmas that mean something to me, personal to me. Uh, so I'm glad it's over and everybody's back home and getting back in their groove and all that stuff. I just like my groove. I like what I do. I'm one of those rare people that I enjoy what I do. So when I hear stuff like, I made a sacrifice, well, I've never really seen it that way. Even when I was driving the truck full time, I was out and about, going out and about, and I never saw it as a sacrifice then. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a privilege to me to be able to take good care of my family and the people around me, the people that I love, and do something that I really love doing in the process. That's, to me, that was always a gift. It was never, poor me, I'm disrespected, none of that bullshit. I get so tired of hearing that. Been out since after Christmas. Well, cool. I never had a job like that. I never have. I never have. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about how to get rich here in a minute. I never had a job. I always went out and back, no matter what. Back when I first started driving trucks in 1979, when we lived in Florida, I would go out and come back, go out and come back. And I might be gone for 4 days or 5 days. We used to run to California and back out of Florida, so I'd be gone 5 days. But when I got home, I stayed home for a couple days. Hung out with the wife and kids and did my thing. If I needed some time off to go to one of the kids' functions or holiday or something like that, I took the time off and stayed home. And then I would get out there and go. And in the wintertime, when there's not, like now, after the holidays, when there's not that much going on, I would really capitalize on that. I would really get out there and just, bang on it. I was still home every few days. And if I needed time off, to do something, I took it. So, I don't know why people take these jobs with these companies that keep them out for, a month at a time, or some of them 3 or 4 months at a time or more. For me, Fair Oaks in the Midwest are where a lot of our loads are. Yeah, that's a choice that you make because I know who you work for. In fact, I know the president of your company very, very, very well. I will be seeing him in 3 weeks out in Clovis, New Mexico for a meeting we have every year that he and I are both part of. So that's a choice that you make. I chose not to do that. I chose to run runs and take jobs and do work that suited me and suited my family and all that. And if I had it to do over, and I do occasionally, that's what I do. That's what I do. I mean, did I always run everywhere I wanted to go? No, I did not. Did I always do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it? No. I went where the work and the money was. That was what I was interested in doing. Because let's face it, if it weren't for the money, I'd be fishing. If it weren't for making a living, earning the money, I'd be somewhere else. So anyway, we're going to talk about the load board tonight. I only know a few people in my world that are really good at running the load boards. And there are people that are really good at it. So I know what it takes to do that. I know what it takes to be successful at that and make that work for you. And it's hard to explain it to people. And sometimes when I do, I was on a podcast with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, but right before the holidays, and he had this other guy on there. And the guy was sponsored by by DAT. So he was real interested in, telling about how great it was and all that. And I said, yeah, I disagree, but that's okay. It's okay for me to have a different opinion than you. That's what makes the world go round. But anyway, a lot of that stuff that he was talking, was just, to me, it was just, and I would say stuff like, well, there's loads going here. Well, what if I don't want to go there? Well, then you're a fucking dumbass and you should get a different line of work because that's how you make money. If you want to drive a cool Peterbilt, which I've done a million times, I usually have a pretty nice truck. If you want to drive a cool Peterbilt and only run to Dallas and back because it's cool, good luck to you. I think it's great. I think that's exactly, if that's what you want to do, I think you should do that. I do. Honestly, I do. I think you should go out and buy a $250,000 Peterbilt, or go out and buy it's been years since I saw you. Happy New Year. If you want to buy a really expensive truck, cool truck, and just run out west and back and be cool and get some like cowboy boots and shit, I got some. I do. I don't have them on right now. I got tennis shoes on because the cowboy boots make my damn feet hurt because I'm old. But anyway, we're going to talk about how to use the load board to make it work. Number one, if you disagree with anything I say, bless you. I think it's great. I always say I only speak for myself. I'm not here to advise you or do any of that, but I'm gonna. And I think people should make their own decisions and do their own research. And what I do on Tuesday night when I get on here is just try to pass along some of the stuff that I've done. That's what I do. It's worked out pretty well for me. I'd like to think it could help you work out for you, because that's what we do. We help each other. So anyway, number one, if you disagree with anything I say, okay, and you don't want to do that, then don't. But I'm just going to lay it out for you the way it works for me. Number one, if you're just going to use the load boards for whatever reason, and there's a million reasons. Some people, some owner operators, some one truck owners or three truck owners, small companies, some of those folks are not good at selling to customers. They're not good at it. They don't like it. They're uncomfortable about it. They don't feel good about it. It makes them uneasy. It makes them uncomfortable. And it's hard for them to do because of that. There are a lot of things. Talking obviously is not something that's hard for me. And if I go to a customer, I don't have a hard time doing it. I like meeting people. I like hanging out with them, and I can usually find something to talk about no matter who I'm hanging out with. So it works better for me. But some people are not like that. They're really, really, really good at driving that truck. They're really good at working on that truck. They're really good at building motors. They're really good at at those kind of things. They're really good at getting in that truck, no matter what the weather is, no matter what the conditions are, getting in that truck and getting from point A to point B on time and not tearing shit up. They're really, really good at that. They just don't happen to be good salespeople. And that's what brokers are. They're salespeople. It's simple. That's all. That's what they are. A lot of brokers these days don't even know anything about a truck. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. A lot of the people you talk to on the phone don't have any idea about your equipment, about what it's like to drive in the wintertime or what it's like to drive in the mountains. They don't have a clue about that. So a long, long, long time ago, I got way past the point of trying to educate those guys. I don't do it. If I pick up a load and they go, how soon can you be there? I'll go, well, I can be there in 12 hours. Factoring in the weather, factoring in the mountains, factoring in all these different things that you have to factor in, traffic, cities, all that stuff. Factoring in, I can tell you pretty much when I'm going to be there. And I don't bother to explain. What do you mean 12 hours? Well, that's how long it's going to take. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to explain it to you. I don't want you to come over to my house and take a warm shower. Shut up, and I'll be there in 12 hours. That's it. But when you're doing this load board thing, I want to work on this, even if it takes me a month. Okay. Chucky's getting ready to change even more. Technology has hooted a really big old. Some shipping companies are playing with it, the way to book loads. It's amazing some of the stuff I got introduced to over the last month. Yes and no. And let me tell you why I say that. I'm not just going to say it to be hard to get along with, because I'm not. When many years ago, 25 years ago, when I was at Walmart, and most of you know that I worked at Walmart in management for several years. When I was there, we started, way back then, and even before then, we started implementing systems into all our processes, how to order goods, how to replace goods, how to dispatch trucks, how to figure out how to get all our freight back to our terminal so we could send it to the stores. We started doing all that way back then. And I've seen these systems and this automation and all this stuff. I've seen it come and go. I've seen it come and go because a system is only good as the information that you put in it. And it's still that way. It's it's still that way. Garbage in, garbage out, we used to say. So, I see all these people with all this technology. It's not new. None of it's new. Do you know how many times I saw a guy on one of my friends' thing? Mostly he does politics and all that bullshit, so I can't listen to it very much. I don't care about all that. But he had this guy on there. We're starting up a new thing. And all you do is you pay us $100 a load to get into our system, and it will book the best load for you. Shit, that's been around for 30 years. That isn't new. He's only going to charge you $100. I'm of all the loads I move, and it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot. There's a whole lot of loads I move. I don't make $100 on. Everybody thinks we're making 40%. We're not. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that tonight. Here's how to make it work for you. Some things that I have learned over the years. If number one, it's managed and run and operated, these load boards, by brokers. That's who's there. Okay. A lot of the big trucking companies have their own brokerage in-house, and they have their own load board. Schneider is one. I always use them for an example because they're good at it. They really are good at it. They pay fair rates. They've got good freight. They've been around a long time. They pay their bills. They will pay your ass every Friday, without, you don't have to worry about getting your money from them when you haul a load. If you have a problem with a load, they understand it and they'll help you deal with it because they know their customers. They're good at it. They're not out there just grabbing customers, to stick them out there and broker. They're not in that business. The freight that you get from them is freight that they went out and booked for their fleet, and for whatever reason they can't cover it, so that they will ask people to do it. They've got a lot of people signed up on their load boards over the last several years. I have a friend in Charlotte, North Carolina, that has 10 trucks, and he runs under his own authority. He has his own yard, his own equipment, all that stuff. He's his own truck company, but he strictly hauls for Schneider. Period. That's all he does. And they use his drop yard. He uses theirs. He's been with him for years. God, sorry, 20 years. And he does very, very well. He's got nice, new, shiny equipment. Most of his drivers have been with him for 10 plus years, and he's made a damn good living doing that. So you'll never catch me downing somebody that finds their groove and gets in it and stays there. But the way to use these load boards, if that's what you want to do, the way to use is try to start and build a good relationship with brokers that have freight around your home domicile, wherever that is. And trust me, I don't care where you live, there's freight around you. I've said this a million times. There's freight around you. Get in there and do it. Now, the brokers are going to try to get you to haul freight that the big companies, the big boys and shit like that, don't want to haul. That's a good thing. Let me tell you why. That's a good thing. Because here's what you can do. And I'm going to use this for an example. Stay with me here. If you know how to write, and I know 3 of you on here right now know how to write because I've seen you do it. Okay. I've seen you do it, writing down. I'm going to use this for an example. I've got a customer that has loads that go up to the Northeast with multiple drops on them, and nobody wants to haul it. People hate it. They hate it. I've been hauling it for 10 years. We do it for 10 years. I do it, and I've got a couple of small carriers here right around me, and they do it for me for 10 years. Here's why we do it. It pays really, really well. The customer is a good company. They pay their bills every Friday. Every Friday, they pay their bills. Every Friday. Try to find a customer like that. It's hard to, okay? And we go to the same places all the time. So try to build relationships. Then why have the load board? Because you got to start somewhere. That's all. After you start to build the customers, you won't use the load board anymore because they'll call you up every day and ask you if you got a truck. You can turn it off. But to meet a few people, to get to know people, that's a good place to start. That's where you see the loads and see the freight. But I'm going to use this for an example. Let me finish my train of thought. We go up to the Northeast for these guys, and we make our drops. We get them off real fast. We know where they are. We know when they're open. We even know the people that work there. We've been doing it a long time. We make our drops, and then we pick up a load. And instead of coming back to Nashville, because freight from New York to Nashville pays shit, it's terrible. I only have one truck, so load boards work for me. Good. Like I said, I know people that make it work, and they know what they're doing. But we go up to the Northeast, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine. We go up there for these people. And instead of loading back to Nashville, you're going to let me finish my thought or I'll turn your ass off. Instead of going back to Nashville, we load back to Ohio. The reason we load back to Ohio because the rates from the Northeast to Ohio are a whole lot better than they are from the Northeast back to the Southeast. They're a lot better. So we load back to Ohio, and guess what? We unload right usually in the pretty same place because Ohio's got a lot of freight. Okay. We load out of Ohio, then we load back to Nashville. In doing that, in running that little triangle, okay? In running that little triangle, we usually add anywhere from $800 to $1,200, $1,300 revenue on that trip coming back. And if you do their incremental miles, if you figure out your mileage, you probably only ran about 100 miles difference. That's $10 a mile that you made to run that extra 100 miles. And you have to think that way. You got to keep that in your head. But we'll load to the Northeast, we'll load back to Ohio, and then from Ohio back down to Nashville. And when we do that little run right there, we usually make right around $6,500, $6,800 revenue on 4 days work. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. $6,800, 4 days. I'm not going anywhere else. I mean, yeah, I'm home. I'm off. I'll do it again next week. But that's what we do. Triangles. So that I use that as an example, okay? And you can use that exact same example if you want to take a run to Florida. It pays very well unless you're an idiot. If you go down there for $3 a mile, you're a fool. You're an idiot. So very important in dealing with these load boards is know when to say no. But if you can go down there, you don't want to load out of Florida going to Nashville or to St. Louis or to Indianapolis because it's going to pay you 86 cents. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is, hunt around, maybe deadhead up a little bit because you got a good rate going down there. Deadhead up to Savannah, somewhere down in there, pick up a load, come back up to, Atlanta or Nashville, and then pick up a load to where you're going. Triangulate your loads. You're going straight out and straight back. You're not running a lot of incremental miles or a lot of extra miles, to do that. Okay. And if you do that and you learn how to triangle, it'll take you an extra however long it takes to run 100 miles, unload and reload. That's how much longer it takes for you to make an extra $1,000 on that turn. That's pretty good. So if you're going to use these load boards, and go to places that most people don't want to go, the Northeast or Florida or Denver, places like that, if you're going to go there, don't think in terms of going to Denver and back. Think in terms of triangulating out of Denver. Pick up a load in Denver and go somewhere else. 2 years ago when all that freight coming out of California, when everything was backed up and they were paying 10 grand to come out of there, okay? We weren't going to California. We went to Fargo, North Dakota. Look it up. We'd load out of here to Fargo and we get $3 to $4 a mile to go up there because that's a bad lane. Nobody wants to do it. But there was always loads coming out of there going to Southern California, and they always paid $3 to $3.50 a mile. So we go from here to the Dakotas back down to California, and then pick up that high dollar shit coming back. Even though the rates have dropped significantly coming out of California because they're all caught up on their freight now, okay? It still works better to do it that way. Savannah, Arkansas. Yeah, see, you're triangulating there for me. You're triangulating. That's what you're doing. You're running a triangle. If you think in terms of, and you see it on social media. Yeah, I got down here in Miami last night. These sons of bitches want to pay 80 cents a mile. They've been doing that for 40 years. and you just now found out. Well, Merry Christmas, mother. You just figured that out, that they don't pay anything to come out of Miami. I started out my trucking career, my dad's company in Florida. I've been hauling freight out of Florida all my life. Okay. They don't pay anything to come out of Florida. When you come out of Florida, if you load out of Florida, unless you get really, really lucky, or it's in the peak of produce season when they're paying $3 a mile, you're going to come out of there really cheap. And you don't want to haul that load to Indianapolis or Chicago or Columbus, Ohio. You want to haul that load to Atlanta or Savannah and get out of it. Get off that 80 cent a mile shit and pick up some good freight. That's what you want to do. You know, you're not getting much out of Florida, so you make your money going. Yeah, I think I just said that. Pretty sure I just said that. So anyway, triangulate. And if you go to places like that, people will pay you more and you should demand it. And if it's not enough, say no. Say, look, buddy, hey, it's me, it's Frank. I've hauled this load for you a dozen times. I'm not going there for that. See if you can get somebody to do it for $1.75. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. Honest to God, people, I would rather not run a week than take some of this shit I see people hauling all day, every day. And part of it's because they're greedy, and part of it's because they don't know any better. Instead of searching from your origin, try to run a search to where you want to go. Many times you'll find better paying loads somewhere else in the route. Yes, you always will, almost all the time. So that's point one that I wanted to make. How to get filthy rich running the load board. Learn to triangulate. Put yourself in a position to elevate your revenue. Okay? Well, what if I don't want to go to Ohio? I don't like it. Ohio. Well, then don't go, motherfucker. I don't care. I don't care if you ever go there. If you hate it so bad that you don't want to add $1,000, $1,200 to your revenue for a week by going 100 miles out of the way, don't do it. Come on back home. And then get on Facebook on Friday afternoon and go, I hate trucking. I'm going broke. My wife left me. I don't got it. Oh, Jesus. Ohio's great. So, triangulate. If you're going to go places, put yourself in a situation to go to the next place to get a really good load, okay? Because it's there. If you do that little run that we do up into the Northeast, we do 2 a week usually for this one customer. We've been doing that so long that before we even agree to pick up a load and head up, we've already got our next 2 loads booked because we call them and book them ahead. Come back. I don't have any customers in New York. I don't have any customers in Connecticut. I don't have any customers up there. I rely on broker freight to move to the next place. That's what I do. But I know how to do it. And once in a while they'll say, hey, Frank, I got one going right back to Nashville. I'm like, okay, what does it pay? Well, and don't pay as good as them Ohio. Good, then you keep it. I'll do the Ohio. If you want to pay me my rate coming back to Nashville, which basically equals what I can make to go to Ohio and come back, dandy. Bring it. Learn how to negotiate, but don't negotiate just to try to get another 30 cents a mile. Negotiate to put your truck where you want it. You get it? Are you with me? Don't worry about 30 cents a mile, because if you go to Ohio out of the Northeast, you're going to get it plus some, plus $1 usually. So triangulate your truck. Spend your time looking at your destinations and triangulate your truck. Triangulate your truck if you go to Denver, if you go to the Northeast, if you go to Florida, if you go to these places where there's not a whole lot of freight. Figure on going to the closest place you can go to get a good load of freight. That's the idea. Don't pull an 80-cent load out of Florida going to New Jersey, for God's sake. Because if you get as far north as Atlanta, you can get $4 a mile to go to New Jersey. Why would you pass that load with your trailer full of 80-cent freight? Why would you do that? What are you thinking? Have you lost your mind? Anyway, triangulate. Okay. Another thing that you can do if you're going to make money on the load boards, and you want to make money on the load boards, look for short hauls. Talk to these brokers that have freight around you about short hauls. Everybody thinks, Deb Dingo and I have talked about this, a couple different times, and everybody has an idea of what they need to make per day. Not, per mile's great. That's a wonderful thing. But per day, what kind of revenue you need to make with that truck. Most people, and freight's not like it was 2 years ago where there's a real big imbalance and people are paying $4 a mile. It's not that way now. It's probably not going to be that way for a while, So we're back to kind of normal rates. The spot market peaked. It stayed that way longer than I thought it did. Okay. It peaked. And then it corrected and went back to where it was before that, which is where we are now. So a lot of these people, that are out there crying the blues and spent too much on a truck. And, 2 years ago, they were making 12 grand a week every single week. A lot of those people are mad now. But prior to that, making 6 or 7 grand a week was a good week, because if you do your numbers, and I'm not going to get into that tonight, we'll get into that next week if you want to. But you do your numbers on what you make with your truck, what it costs to operate your truck. If you run a $65,000, $7,000 week on your truck, fuel's going back down too. Yeah, which is a great thing. I don't care about that because I charge fuel surcharge and I will not haul for anybody that won't pay me my fuel surcharge. Period. End of story. I don't want to talk to some asshole. And everybody, well, them brokers won't pay me that. They say we just got a regular rate. Well, fuck them then. Hang up the phone. If enough people do that, they will pay it. I promise you. I give you my word of honor. They're collecting it. They're getting it from the customer. I promise you they're getting it from the customer. So why aren't they giving it to you? Because you don't demand it or even ask for it. $7,000 a week will net me $5. That's pretty damn good money. That's more money than you're going to make working in a factory, working at a desk job. That's more money than you're going to make usually with a master's degree. Plus, you get to wear blue jeans, cool Caterpillar hats, T-shirts, and hang out with guys like me, Sparky Anderson, people like that. You get to hang out with us, Joe Denny, guys like that. You don't hang out with people like that hanging around in a cubicle. Jesus, who are you people? I don't understand. All right, short haul stuff. Look at your short haul stuff around you. Most of that stuff pays what we call a flat rate. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the mileage. It doesn't have anything to do with, your next load and all that stuff. It has to. It's a short haul rate. If somebody wants to occupy your truck for 24 hours, they need to pay you $1,500. Because if you can take a load up to New York, triangulate back to Ohio, and come back to Nashville, and that's what you'll make per day. It's actually more than that. You'll make more than that. So if they want to pay you what it's worth to use you and your equipment, for 24 hours, and these guys will go, they'll get you on there and they'll go, I give you $500. Hell, it ain't but $200. Like, damn, that's $4 a mile. You're gonna let this dumb asshole use your truck all day long, so you can't pick up another load. You can't add any revenue. You're gonna let this dumbass talk you out of your truck for $500? I'm not sure I've got enough ass for a person like that to kiss, but I'd come up with it. I got friends with asses. Yes, sir. Anyway, the short haul stuff is great. We've got a guy right here in Nashville, and he's got loads every day, usually 5 to 7 of them, that run up to Louisville and back. Well, up to Louisville. Now, back during the crunch, he was paying $1,000 for a load like that. So we would run up there, and we were hauling water back to Sam's Clubs in Nashville, and we were getting 1,000 up, 1,000 back. Shit, we were making 10 grand a week and never went past Louisville. It's cheaper than that now. They've come down on the rates, some of those. But you can still make 6 or 7 grand a week doing that, and you're home every night and you're off on the weekend. You're not sleeping in the truck stop. You're not eating truck stop food unless you just want to. I mean, I know some of you like it. I know it. but you're sleeping in your own bed every night. You're seeing your wife and kids. You're off on the weekend so that you can mow the grass. I mean, that's great stuff. So if you're going to use the load boards, use your head. Use your head. Don't get caught someplace you shouldn't be unless you have a plan before you go there to get out. By that, I mean triangulate your way out of there. Come out of there to somewhere else and then come home. Pick up, turn that revenue up, up, up. Push the revenue up so you can do that. And here's what's going to happen. If you do that triangle, let's say three times, you're going to know those brokers and they're going to know you. So if you pick up on time, deliver on time, don't piss their customers off, and don't tear their freight up. Next week, they'll call you. Hey, Frank, you got anybody up in New Jersey next week? Yeah, dude, I got 2 up there. I got 1 Tuesday, 1 Thursday. Can I have those guys? Yeah, sure. So, yeah, how do you use the load board? You use it to meet people. You use it to start relationships. And then once you have them, you'll do it. That's what my son does all day, every day, people. And the people that work for him, when I brag about we don't use the load boards, we don't. We don't have to. We have carriers, and we've had the same freight for years and years and years, most of the time. Occasionally something weird will pop up. But they call us and we call them. We know each other. We work together. We do business together all the time. We don't even talk about rates. We already did that. We did that, a year ago. We don't even talk about rates. Frank, you got 2 trucks this week? Dude, I do. Oh, man, can I have them? Yeah, sure. Sure, we got you. All right, brother, I'll send you some sheets. That's it. In this automated high technology world where everything is done by the computer and everything is factored down to the microsecond, every little thing is calculated. It's still a business of relationships. It always has been, and it always will be. It always will be. You notice that these automated truck companies are going out of business left and right. Let me tell you why. Because they're a scam. They don't work. They've had a couple of automated Ubers right here in Nashville. It ran over 2 people. One of them ran into a building, tore the whole building up. There was no people in there, but they damn sure. Now we don't have automated Ubers anymore. They don't work. So these companies start up and they raise all this money and they go public and they get people to buy their stock to the tune of billions of dollars. And they go for a year or 2, and they make big announcements. They come on all the trucker publications because all those things are so full of wonderful knowledge, as we all know. They come on there and go, congratulations, truck 1. Next week, we're going to put trucks on the route between Dallas and Houston. And yeah, they do it. They do that. And then a year later, you say, truck 1 is closing operations in Dallas due to whatever. It's a scam. They scam these investors out of their money. They take it and they run. Top 5 people in the company make $1 billion a piece and they quit. It's a joke. Same as all this automated freight board stuff. Same bullshit. It doesn't work. It never has. It's never done it. I've been a participant twice in those things. It's a joke. The government subsidizes them as well. They subsidize them in the form of tax breaks. They don't actually give them funds, but they do subsidize them in the form of tax breaks. So they don't have to pay taxes like you and me, which is, imagine all the money you'd have if you didn't have to send it to, Washington at the end of every quarter. Put that truck in Chicago traffic. Put that truck out on an open road in the middle of New Mexico with not another car or truck in 5 miles either way. Put that truck out there and have that GPS satellite go out for about 8 seconds, because that's what they run off of. They do the same with all the electric cars. So anyway, that using the load board and making yourself a living is I know people that do it and they're good at it and they've been doing it for a long time. Shane Ferris is a guy that knows how to do it. These people know how to make the thing work. But pretty soon you're not getting on the load board and clicking on a load. Pretty soon they're calling you on the phone. I mean, real soon. You're going, how many trucks you got this week? Well, I got 4. Okay, can I have them? Yeah, you can have 3 of them. I need to help Freddie out this week. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you. That's how it works. If a broker can make one phone call and book 3 to 5 loads in one phone call, you don't think he's going to do that over sitting there slaving over the computer in DAT and begging somebody to take his loads all day, every day? I know I'm not. It works best for everybody involved if you do it that way. It works best. I get emails all the time on loads. Yeah, all day, every day. All day, every day. So if you're going to use the load boards, from load boards. Yeah, if you're going to use the load boards, I'm trying to help you guys think a little bit about how you might take a look at them a little differently than you have been. Because you can. Because you can. A lot of shippers, especially some of the medium and small shippers, will use brokers. Okay. And the reason they do is because they don't want to do it. They don't, like if they're in the business of making, screen doors for mobile homes, they don't have an in-house brokerage. They don't have, much of a transportation department. They don't want one. They don't like it. They're in the business of making screen doors and they're really good at it. That's what they do. That's how they make their money. When you start adding, salaries and labor, anybody that's not actively out there nailing together screen doors is costing you money. They don't want to do it. Shane don't know nothing about nothing. You take that up with Shane. But they don't want to do it. So that if a broker calls up and gives them a sales pitch and they go, fine, fucking do it. They don't care. Save us some money if you can. So they will use some brokers, and the easier you can make their lives, the happier they are, and the happier you will be. So if you're going to use the load boards, there's a way to do it. You don't want to live there. You don't want to make it your home. You don't want to, get on there early in the mornings, because I'm telling you, the $4 a mile shit, unless you're going to the Northeast, Miami or Denver, somewhere like that, the $4 a mile stuff is gone now. It may come back at some point, but I wouldn't count on it. I say that, and I'm trying to keep a positive attitude about it. I'm trying to remain encouraging about it. Okay? I'm trying to do that because these markets, especially the spot market, it fluctuates. It goes in cycles, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. There's a lot of telltale signs. Like right now, 2 years ago, God, you couldn't buy a trailer for $100,000. Now they're everywhere. That's a sign of the times. People are letting go of the trailers because, they're not making any money because they don't know how to. That's why we have these meetings on Tuesday night and talk about these things. That's why we do this. I dropped a Werner load going from Massachusetts to Virginia. It paid $3.25 a mile, $1,300 in a day. The hell's wrong with that? Okay. When I go to the Northeast, there's a lot of things to consider. Fuel's higher. You got tolls to pay. It's congested. It takes you a little bit longer. It can be a pain in the ass, but I mean, you're a truck driver. You can deal with that. Okay, there's going to be a pain in the ass. All right. To me, like going to New York is like spending a whole day in construction. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It's going to come back up next quarter after these yahoos that bought overpriced loads get out of the market. Overpriced trucks, you mean? Maybe. I know people that are still growing, that are still buying trucks. And they haven't stopped. They've been doing it all along. Yeah. I know people that are doing well. We are doing okay. And I mean, thank goodness. But if you're going to use the load boards and you want to make money, this is how you do it. You build relationships, you work those relationships, you work on them, you have conversations with these people. They know you, you know them, and if people like you, they will do business with you. It's pretty simple. If somebody doesn't like you, like if you call people like one of these guys on Facebook, yeah, you got to call them really sticky tongue. You do that to me, I'll hang up the phone on your ass and put you on automatic ignore for the rest of your life. And I think you'll find a lot of people think that way. As long as you have a $2,500 truck payment every month, you can make it. That's all relative, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, if you're making $7,000 a week, what difference does it make how much your truck payment is? It's all that's all relative. I mean, if you gauge your business by the amount of your truck payment, that's a hard way. To me, that's a hard way to calculate that. It's just me. I can't go backwards. I can't do a calculation like that from the outside in. I have to do it from the inside out. I have to know what my cost is. Okay. I mean, a $2,500 a month truck payment that's not a real high truck payment to me. But I know guys that are triple that. I do, and they struggle and they bitch and they complain. And when you do that, when you get into that, then pretty soon you're blaming everybody else but yourself, and it's the broker's fault because they don't know how to get their own accounts and they don't know how to have a relationship with a brokerage company. They don't know how to do that because they think that everybody's out to get them. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't like those people. I don't like when I see them on social media. I usually insult them and then block them. I don't. You guys that have been around me a long time know that I do that. But it's really honestly, God, this thing that we do. Okay, it's just not that complicated. It's really not. It's not that complicated. If you're willing, and I put these posts up on my G3 page all the time. If you want to buy a thing without worrying about the price, you got to clock it. You got to work every day without worrying about the clock. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. And all these guys that, well, I shouldn't have to work more than 9 hours a day. Well, you're never going to have shit. Good luck to you. I'm making a sacrifice. You should quit. If it's that much of a sacrifice and it hurts you so deeply to get out there and make a living, you should fucking quit today. You should quit. Or at least don't say it around me. Because I love this thing we do. I just do. Anyway, working the DAT boards, working the load boards, stuff like that. It's a great place to meet people. It's a great place to develop relationships. It's a great place to see what's going on out there, what other people are doing. If you get up every day and try to find a brand new load in a brand new lane and I ain't going nowhere but Dallas, then you ain't going to make any money. And that's okay with me. But I just don't want to hear you cry and bitch when Friday rolls around and you can't pay your bills. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't care. I could tell you I care. I could look you right in your eye and kind of raise my brow a little bit and go, really? Is that right? But that would be a damn lie because I really don't give a shit. If you make bad decisions based on the fact that you're such a privileged individual that you can only spend your days and nights and weeks and years doing the exact thing that you want to do, if you can get away with that, more power to you. I think it's great. I don't want to hear about it when it doesn't work. Do I like running the Northeast? I do not. I really don't. I really don't. But it pays really well. I mean, it really does. My dad always used to say, there's no such thing as a bad load. There's just a bad rate. Freight goes all over the place. Somebody's going to move it. If they pay enough, it might as well be you. So that's how to get rich using the load board. Use your head. Triangulate out of bad places. Don't just try to go there and come back and then get mad because it doesn't pay anything coming back. Take a shorter run into a higher freight area, a freight with more density, a place with more density. Pick up that load, move it, add $1,000 or more to your weekly revenue just by taking that one little detour. Do that. Do it. Same thing coming out of Florida. Same thing coming out of Denver. Same thing coming out of blah, blah, blah. I could go on and on and on and on. If you stay in the Midwest most of the time, you'll do pretty well. I mean, that's where the concentration of freight is. You'll do pretty well. If you work with the same brokers almost all the time, okay, and you do pretty much the same lanes all the time, pretty much. And that guy was on that podcast with the other day. What if I don't want to do the same thing all the time? I said, oh God, dude, I'm not gonna argue with you, you dumbass. If you do this, if you stay in the same areas and the same lanes most of the time, okay, most of the time, you find out where the good fuel stops are. You find out where the showers are. You don't have to wait for 2 hours for. You find out where to eat. You find out where to park. You know, it just makes life easier on you. All that stuff that I just mentioned, all that stuff at the end of the week turns into money. Turns into money. So, what if I don't want to do that? Well, then don't do it, little man. Go put on your little cowboy boots and go out west and be a cowboy. Yeah, that's it. Well, by the time these wheels get rolling, nighttime is the right time going out of Atlanta, plus Nashville. Come on by. Love to see you. Anyway, that was my pitch tonight. We've been here for an hour. I didn't mean to be here for an hour. That's my pitch tonight. If you're going to use the DAT board, okay, be careful and use your head. Position yourself to make the most money, not to get home 5 hours quicker. If you have to, you have to. Sometimes it happens. I've done it. Everybody's done it. But on a weekly basis, I mean, consistently go into those areas. Yeah, you have to decide what's important and do that. That's correct. That's 100% correct. Go into those areas where the freight is a lot more available and it pays better. Don't worry about coming out of Orlando, Florida, back to Indianapolis, Indiana. That's a shit lane. That's a terrible lane. It's a bad idea. On the way from Orlando to, you can deadhead to Atlanta and make more money going to Indianapolis than you can hauling a load from Orlando to Indianapolis. Why would you do it? I mean, why would you do it? People get this stuff in their heads. Okay, well, I got to keep my deadhead below 10%. That's the way these big corporations think because they haul freight for shit. That's how that's corporate speak. That's not owner-operator speak. That's not. That's not. That is corporate speak. We got to keep our deadhead below 7%. We're very proud of ourselves for that. Well, good for you, motherfucker. Anyway, hey, Happy New Year to everybody. I'm happy to see everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I want to mention one thing. Keep all our brothers and sisters in your prayers and help each other every chance you get. Some things are going to change around here at G3. I'm going to be doing some different stuff here. I'm still hopefully be around on Tuesday nights and all that stuff, but I'm going to get back out and out and about a little bit this year and try to get around a little bit more. I'm just kind of feeling it. I'm going to make a trip to Florida, but I'm going to do that in the car here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to make a trip to Dallas, but I'm going to do that in the aeroplane. Anyway, I hope everybody's in good shape. Help somebody. Do it. Spend a minute or so taking good care of somebody. That's what we need. That's what we're about. That's who we are. We got each other. Nobody's coming over the hill to save us. It's just us. Have a great week. It's Tuesday. Make a shit ton of money. Make 2024 whatever you want to make of it. But if we can help, we'll be right here.